Good morning. This is Reverend Pam. It's not morning, it's evening here in a very, very hot Southern California day. And so if you're with me, you already know that it's very, very warm here. Um, I worry about the animals. And if you saw earlier videos of us testing the sound, those were supposed to be deleted. But most importantly, I'm doing a talk tonight on the practice of saying no. And what that means is that when we say no, it's so hard for us sometimes to even do this in our culture. But the practice of saying no is about setting boundaries that support our highest good. Your spiritual awareness and connection to something greater than you are comes when you set those boundaries many times. Sometimes we say yes because we want to be wanted and liked. How many of us? I do. Knowing that someone wants us and wants to be with us makes us want to say yes. In our spiritual can do community and culture, many times we just want to say yes, although it is not something we want to do or what really have even the time to do, but we make the time that encroaches on other things that are even more important to us. For whatever reasons, it's just difficult to say no. No to things, no, I don't want to go out tonight. I'd rather be home watching TV. Or no, I don't have enough work for now. Please give me more. Who's ever said that? Of course, sometimes when we're at our workplace, you say, oh no, I'm doing great. Yeah, I want to show up in a greater way. And we don't have the time or energy depending upon our culture and our conditioning and with our circle of friends also, if we're going to say yes to ideas that make us resentful and take away from adding more to our life, then what is the point? You're going to end up exhausted and it's not going to be work. You know, in China, and this is a different cultural change again, in China, when you are asked, how are you? The polite answer is, I am very busy, thank you, because in China, the difference between the cultures means that if I am busy, then I must be fine. It has nothing to do with, oh no, I have to say no to something, but it has to do with how busy you are and how good it is to be busy. There's a story, speaking of cultures, and there's a story about Korean air pilots. And at one time, the Korean pilots and airplanes had the highest record of crashes in the world. And so when they studied how this is possible, because most of these Korean pilots were trained even in America. What they discovered, it was a cultural and also a languaging thing. So in Korea, instead of saying, you know, mate, let me, we're about ready to crash, help, help, help. They would say, excuse me, if you don't mind me saying, we are not connected to the tower. And the time it took them to be polite was the difference between life and death for them and also the passengers. So cultural differences also teach us to say yes and no and can do and won't do. So spiritual people are usually, generally, busy people, like the Chinese always say. For millions and millions of people, being busy is a way of life, however, for America. The great Swiss theologian Karl Barth once wrote, a being is free only when he can determine and limit his activity. As a spiritual being, we have to be willing people also to times to set our boundaries and just say no. Because sometimes just saying no is, we don't think we're very holy if we say no, we can't help, no, we can't do that. But it is just the opposite. Sometimes when we say no, as spiritual people, we feel we're just not holy enough or spiritual enough or not giving enough, which is why the fourth commandment is very interesting, where it tells us on the fourth commandment to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And it says in the Bible, for 6 days you shall labor, but the seventh day is the day of Sabbath that you will spend for your God and with your God. The Bible actually says that in 6 days God made the world, and on the seventh day he rested, and he called it good and very good. And what had happened is he had done, I believe, all that he could do. That was enough. And he needed time to absolutely rest and recreate the next great thing that was going to happen. So up until the 1960s, people didn't. Everything was closed on Sundays. Stores were closed. Restaurants were closed. Everything was closed, so that we were almost forced to think of with no sports activities. Like on Sundays now, they have soccer, baseball, football, whatever the sport is. There now it's a day of where we do a lot of different things. In the 1960s, it was a reminder that basically it was a day of rest for us to contemplate something greater than we are. The Sabbath, technically, by the way, is from Saturday to Sunday night. Saturday morning till Sunday morning, I believe, depending upon what religion you are. So all the stores were closed. And by the 1990s, however, that totally changed. Workers were working an average of 164 more paid hours each year. And that's because we wanted to do more and we wanted to play more. We wanted to do more, and somehow slipping away from the idea that we spend time absolutely contemplating the divine within us. Even the Hallmark Card Company created a new line of cards at that time for absentee parents. The one some of the cards said things like, "Sorry, I can't be here to talk to you tonight, sweetheart," or one said, "Sorry, I can't say good morning to you," and it's so parents could go out and be away from their children instead of with them. It would be wonderful if, again, maybe we took time off just to honor something greater than we are, saying no to some of the ideas that are offered to you. May help you support that it's not just a Sunday you have to dedicate yourself to the divine spirit within you, but when you say yes to certain periods put apart and aside for you to be with the divine that is within you, that is when we become awake, aware, alert, and we become deeper and more connected to our source that supports us. I mean, it would be wonderful if we could just say no sometimes to saying, no, I'm not pulling the weeds this Sunday or whatever in a field full of weeds, but just to sit back and contemplate, because we actually rejuvenate when we say no to certain things. And yes, that yes to the divine within us, spending time by ourselves is much better for our health, our wealth, our wisdom, and our spiritual beingness and oneness. Spiritually, we can lift ourselves up not by taking a whole Sunday or changing everything that's been given to us now and everything that's open, but we can do it every time and in a greater way, every time our eyes open every day. Nothing has been done by you, and yet by something else, your eyes are open. Just by opening your eyes and looking out, take a moment. Say, thank God, thank Divine Source, whatever it is, Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, that I live and breathe and have my being in this divine spirit. And speaking of breathing, when you first take that breath, that first breath in the morning that you're aware of, take time out also from jumping out of bed, running for that first cup of coffee. I do that. And cherish why this life-giving breeze should be given to you, and be thankful for it. Thankful for it all. And when going to sleep, wherever you're going to sleep, whether it's on the hard ground, a concrete slab, a nice feather mattress, nice soft mattress under your back. Be grateful. When you wake, be grateful. And when you go to sleep, be grateful. Be grateful that your day begins when you absolutely take that first breath, because you don't have the slightest idea on how you could have done this without being having something move, breathe for you, eyes opening for you, having a being that is greater than the physical body expressing in and through and as you. And remember, take time out to say no to that which no longer supports you, your spiritual connection. For you, when you, by saying no, setting your boundaries, and taking consciously conscious breaths and awareness and time to meditate and pray and just be in the quiet, just being in nature, you are raising yourself up and allowing time for your yeses, but also you've made space and time for spirit to find you. When you are quiet, when you are empty, that's when the divine fills your heart and soul with something greater than you are. And that is when you can say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Call it God, Buddha, Jesus, whatever it is. Just say thank you. And I say, have a wonderful, blessed day. Watch us Sunday morning when Rev. Lynn Chaplain Noe will be talking about dancing with the divine. I love each and every one of you. Peace out. Take time for yourselves and learn how to set your boundaries so there are more nesses in your life. Nesses, yeses in your life. More beingness in your life and more yeses. Mwah! Have a blessed rest of your night.